Hey friends, and welcome to the first video of 2025. Happy New Year. So today we are going to be kicking off the brand new year with a beautiful winter landscape, but using some granulating paints. I have recently fallen in love with these dual color granulating paints that I got from Amazon, which I'm gonna show you. There's regular granulating, and then there's the ones that separate and have different colors, and I'm absolutely obsessed. So let's jump in and get started. Okay friends, so today we're talking about granulating watercolors. I've done a video before on what granulating watercolors are. Basically the pigments are not ground as fine, so they have a little bit more texture to them and they separate a little bit more, and you get some really beautiful kind of textures. Originally, I never really liked granulating colors, but more recently I've seen people use them in different ways, and I've really fallen in love with these dual color granulating colors. So a color that's really common in a lot of paint sets that's just naturally granulating is an ultramarine. So I find my Winsor & Newton is very granulating a lot of the time, and it's just that one single pigment that separates and kind of looks a little bit more textured and chunky. But then you have granulating colors that are like these, where you can see from the package they separate into different colors and they come up with these really cool effects. So I have these ones by Kuretake that are very common right now. I've seen them a lot on YouTube. And then also this brand Supervision has a few different sets of 3 tubes in different colors that are really cool and granulating. You can see the separation from this turquoise to a brown, which is gorgeous. And then these Paul Rubens ones, they're more singular pigmented granulating colors, but they're also really beautiful as well. So today I want to kind of just swatch some of these and then paint a winter landscape, because I've been loving painting really loose winter landscapes with these paints. They've been so much fun. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into my sketchbook. This is my Etchelab cold press watercolor sketchbook that I've been using just for my own paintings, not really tutorials, that I've been using on my own to really kind of develop a style and just let loose and be free. So I'm going to give you a little glimpse into what is in here. They're very heavily inspired by Sarah Cray, who has this atmospheric landscape course, and she does incredible work. So I've kind of been inspired by that. So if you see little hints of that, that's what that is, just kind of painting for myself. This green is the one from Paul Rubens, which if you look closely, I don't know if you can see, there's a little hint of blue, which looks like an ultramarine blue in there, which is really beautiful. But you get these really beautiful textures. So that's this one. Doesn't have a name, and it came in a gift set. So I don't know. I think you might be able to buy them on Amazon in the gift set, but I'm not sure. I'll try and see if I can find the link. This is my absolute favorite color. This one is the Supervision turquoise and brown, which I love. You can see the granulation in that, the separation of the pigment. It's really, really rough. I love that one. And then there's this one, which is one of these ones. I can't remember which one. I think maybe the purple and indigo. And I also just used some ultramarine with it as well. This one I was just playing around, same kind of colors. This one is actually a YouTube tutorial, which is not necessarily granulating colors. I used other methods for a bit more texture in the background. These are the Supervision ones again. This is the brown and turquoise. This one I think is the purple and turquoise, but look how beautiful. And then I added some brown on my own, and I used some salt, but look how beautiful you can get these textures. They're so much fun to use. And so now I want to swatch them, especially these ones with you, to kind of give you an idea of what they look like. And then we're going to paint something really quick. So I'm going to swatch them quite fast, just so you don't have to sit here through me unscrewing cap lids and all that stuff. But I hope you enjoy just kind of looking at them, and then we can get to how I would use these in a painting. Okay, so here are all the swatches, basically dry. Absolutely love them. You can see that I left a bunch of lighter areas because I find with like the dual color gradient, no, the dual color granulating watercolors, they really shine through those light washes. So you can see the second color really coming through. Like here, you can see that turquoise through the pink and that turquoise in the orange, which is so cool. So when you're painting with these, you really have to use different values of like more pigment, less pigment, more water to really let those second colors shine. These ones aren't as granulated as I thought. This one looks really granulating. This one, you can see a hint of blue more in person. This one feels a little bit more flat, and I can see a little bit of blue in this one, but the colors alone are gorgeous. I'm obsessed with this color. But these are absolutely beautiful. So much fun to use. So now I want to use it in a painting. I don't know if you guys saw during the swatches, I was putting little dabs of paint right onto the paper. I find when I put it in the palette, once they've dried, especially with the supervision ones specifically, not the other ones, the supervision ones, and the Kirtaki ones are fine, but these three specifically I found were a little bit harder to reactivate and apply to the paper. They're just really light. So I found the best way to get those really dark, like brown areas, is to just apply the tube right to the paper. But that's just for these ones. Other paints should be fine. Yeah, these ones are, maybe it's just that color. It might just be that color, which is like one of my favorite ones. But for this purpose of this video, I want to apply it right to the paper. I think it's going to be a lot more fun that way to just kind of let go and be a little bit more loose. So I say I'm just obsessed with this color. So I'm going to do this one. If you'd like to see more videos of me painting with, say, the, was it Gansai, Tambi, Kirtaki ones, let me know, and let me know what you would paint with these. I don't know. I feel like I get this like pot, like a plant pot vibe from some of these, just with the texture, which would be really cool, like a vintage pot. But let me know in the comments what you would paint with these colors. I'm going to use this one just because I'm obsessed for this. And let's start. Okay, so I have the tube. This is what I'm going to do. And this is kind of what I've seen Sarah Cray do. She applies right to the paper, or even to like a palette knife she's been using. But I kind of want to just play. And I'm not using a ton, but I'm using a decent amount so I can really spread it around. And I'm going to use a bigger brush, I think. Not huge, but like size 10 round. Actually, no, I'm going to grab like a bigger brush, bigger flat brush, and I'm just going to kind of wet the background up here. And then I'm going to touch it to the pigment and really let it move, if it will. Let's see. And I'm just going to start to bring it upward. I just feel like this color is so very wintry too. The brown and blue. And I'm just going to kind of bring it up like I'm doing some trees. Yeah, so I find, especially with these ones, unless I apply that paint right to the paper, I won't get a dark enough value. I won't get this really, really dark brown. I've tried to reactivate this one a little bit more and it just doesn't work as well. I love how you can see these little specks of brown in here. It's so pretty. And I'm just using this filbert brush to kind of, I'm going to do evergreen trees, I think. It's just my jam. And I'm just taking the pigment from down here, just letting it do its thing. Okay. Like that. Then I'm going to grab maybe my like foliage brush. And I'm just going to tap side to side to get more of like that feel of an evergreen tree instead of just lines. Maybe you can grab some right from the tube. Why not? This is the time to really experiment and have fun. Obsessed with these colors. And if you don't know what my foliage brush I'm talking about, it's a brush that I kind of cut up the tip. Again, I saw from Sarah Cray. Apparently I really like her videos. I have been obsessed with what she's been doing lately with her landscapes. All of her stuff has always been beautiful, but just lately, especially with these loose landscapes, have been so much fun and just really inspiring. So definitely, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go check her out for sure. She owns Let's Make Art. And her stuff is gorgeous. Okay. So this is kind of the background. See how you get those evergreen trees? Okay, now I got to figure out down here. So I kind of want to leave some white for snow. I don't know if I want it to be as dark there. I'm going to try and just kind of move it out a little bit and wash my brush and just kind of wet down here. I'm gonna grab a little bit more and just make it a little bit darker down here too. Don't love that like horizon line, tree line area, but it's all good. We can go over it later. Wash off my brush. Just trying to bring some of this pigment over. I was going to try and leave more white space, but I didn't. This is all about just playing around and experimenting. It's so important to do that for yourself, for your mental health while painting, because I know we can get so down on ourselves and go like, what am I doing? This sucks. Like you have an idea in your head. I think it's so important to just go into painting sometimes with no idea and just see what you can do. What works, what doesn't, this is your time to really try things. Okay. So allow yourself to play. It is so important. I feel like for so long, I just didn't allow myself to play. I always felt like I had to get videos out and content, and it was just about that. But really, how am I going to learn about, discovering anything new if I don't play and try? Like, I don't know if I love this or not, but I love the colors. I love the trees in the background. I feel like I could maybe try and take more notice of what real winter landscapes look like for the ground to get a bit more of like a realistic kind of composition. It's all about taking your learning to the next level and trying out different things. One thing I like doing too is taking just clean water and just kind of tapping it, see if it separates anything or if it's too dry for that. We could always take some salt. Been really into salt lately. Is it still wet? I think it's still wet. Is it? I don't think it's wet. Just that part's wet now. You can drop a little bit of clean water here. Drop some here. A little bit of salt and see what happens. Maybe down on the ground. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for a second, and then we're gonna do a bit like more detail layering on top. Okay, so now it's dry. I kind of want to experiment with adding a different color, but I'm scared because I don't know if it's gonna work. But like turquoise usually goes really nice with orange, but I don't know if that will look good here. But we're gonna try it because it's important to try things, right? Right. Okay, so I'm gonna take the orange one and just see, because it has that turquoise undertone as well. What will happen if I do like orange orange kind of trees on here. Will it warm it up a little bit, maybe? I don't know. I kind of like the way it looks. It's like pretty dark, but it's like orangey. It's also, we're using our complementary colors, right? Orange and blue. So adding that color. Ooh, I like that color. Right? And it kind of flows with the brown just a little bit. Actually, I should use my foliage brush for this. But yeah, painting like this is all about experimenting. If you can, I would suggest dedicating a sketchbook, if you can, to like an experimentation with whatever subject you are into learning on getting better or practicing. So for me, I wanted to get better at landscapes. So that's why I kind of dedicated this specific sketchbook to that, because I just want this to be an experimental zone where I can feel free to not have to create masterpieces for every page, even though I'm actually quite liking what I am creating in this page. But I think it's the lack of pressure that I've put on myself, you know, and it's just really nice to do. I like those. I don't know, you can't really see it on the camera, but I really like the color with this background. And I love doing trees like this. You can make them lighter. That. I like it. Like, what happens if I add a little bit of the orange over here? Just for a change of color down here, just tapping it in, seeing what happens. I kind of like it. You could use like more trees down here. I don't know. So yeah, that's basically it. Tell me what you guys think in the comments of granulating paints, if you'd like to see more with the other colors that I have in these palettes, if this is something you'd be interested in doing like a little series on of just painting with granulating colors, or if you have no interest in this kind of thing, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this kind of glimpse into working with granulating watercolors. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.